It was almost dark. The sun hung like a weak coin low on the far edge of the world. A thin wind moved across the water. The water should have been hard and bright. It should have been a vast white floor stretching to the horizon. Instead, it was open and black. A single gull called out. The sound felt wrong. It echoed over the dark waves, where there should have been only the deep silence of ice. This was a lonely sound in a place that was changing too fast. This is the Arctic in winter. It is a place of long nights and deep cold. It is a place most people think of as frozen forever, a permanent cap on top of our globe. But a new study says the ice here could be gone in summer as soon as 2027. Gone enough that ships could pass through where there was once only white, solid ground. The idea is so stark it feels impossible to grasp. It is a headline that reads like fiction, but the numbers behind it are real. Could the Arctic truly be ice-free in just a few years? The question hangs in the cold air, as heavy as the coming darkness. For many, this is hard to even picture. Ice feels permanent. We grew up with pictures of white polar landscapes and blue skies. We imagine polar bears roaming an endless expanse of white. But the ice is not just melting, it is disappearing. It is changing how the entire world works, from the weather in our backyards to the food on our plates. The quiet of this place is changing too. The sentence that announces this possible future is short. The study that produced it was complex, but its conclusion was simple. It used data. It used math. It looked at the heat we add to the air every day, from our cars and our factories. Scientists watched the ice shrink year after year. They watched it get thinner and weaker. They looked for a point in time when the Arctic Ocean would have almost no sea ice left at the end of summer. And the date they found was shockingly close. The study was not a guess. It was a calculation. Scientists from several countries, satellite images over decades, climate model simulations. They tracked the health of the Arctic sea ice. They saw how it melted each summer. They saw it refreeze each winter. Summer melt was getting bigger. Winter freeze was getting smaller. The ice was losing ground. Published in a major science journal. The study concluded human-caused warming was the main driver. Our emissions are pushing the ice toward a tipping point. What does ice-free actually mean? It's an important detail. It does not mean zero icebergs all year round. The Arctic will still freeze in the deep winter. Ice-free refers to the end of the summer melt season, usually September. It means sea ice area drops below 1 million square kilometers. That sounds big, but it's a tiny fraction of the past. An Arctic mostly open water in summer is a very different place. For generations, the ice was a constant. Imagining it gone in summer is like imagining a world without a moon. It's a profound shift in Earth's geography. This is not a problem for our grandchildren alone. The study suggests the first ice-free summer could happen between now and 2030, even if we cut emissions dramatically today. The system already has heat baked into it. The timeline is no longer just a warning, it's a countdown. The most surprising fact, our immediate actions may change this specific outcome very little. Scientists found summer sea ice loss is almost locked in for the next few years. The momentum is too great. That does not mean our efforts are useless. Reducing emissions is still critical to avoid worse, irreversible impacts elsewhere. But we must prepare for an Arctic without its summer ice cap. We must face what is coming. Why is this happening so fast? The answer lies in a dangerous loop. The Arctic warms 2 to 4 times faster than the rest of the planet. This is called polar amplification. Warming temperatures melt bright, white sea ice. Ice retreats and exposes dark ocean water underneath. Think about a white shirt in the sun, now a black shirt in the sun. The white shirt reflects sunlight and stays cool. The black shirt absorbs sunlight and heats up. The Arctic works the same way. Dark ocean absorbs far more of the sun's energy than reflective ice. That extra absorbed heat warms the ocean. Warmer ocean melts more ice from below. That exposes more dark water. The dark water absorbs more sunlight. That extra absorption melts more ice. This is a feedback loop, a vicious cycle that speeds warming, like a small fire that grows on its own. The Arctic is trapped in this self-reinforcing cycle. There is more bad news. A warmer atmosphere holds more moisture. This is simple physics. In the Arctic, that means more rain instead of snow, especially in spring and in fall. Rain on sea ice is devastating. It creates dark melt ponds on the surface. Melt ponds absorb extra heat, speeding the melt. Rain on snow forms hard icy crust on land. That crust prevents animals from digging to plants. Caribou, muskoxen. The patterns of the seasons are breaking. The world is not just getting warmer, it is getting wilder and more unpredictable. Feedback loops don't just accelerate change, they make the future harder to predict. Systems stable for thousands of years are now unstable. This instability won't stay confined to the far north. What happens in the Arctic does not stay in the Arctic. The ice is home. For the indigenous peoples who live in the Arctic, the changes are not numbers on a chart. They are disruptions to daily life, culture, and survival. Hunters in communities across Greenland, Canada, and Alaska use the stable sea ice like a highway, to seals, to walrus, to whales. When the ice becomes thin, unpredictable, or gone altogether, that road disappears. This is not a matter of inconvenience, it is a matter of food security. Boats must replace snowmobiles, more dangerous and expensive. Homes once protected by sea ice now face the full force of autumn storms. The waves eat away frozen ground. Villages consider relocation. Hunters travel farther to find animals, driving up the cost of living. The stories of the elders, tied to the white seasons, start to lose their context. The ice is also home to animals. The polar bear has become the symbol of this crisis for a reason. These powerful predators are perfectly adapted to a life on the sea ice. They walk for miles across the frozen ocean to hunt for seals, their main source of food. As the ice melts earlier, the bears spend more time on land, where they have little to eat. They grow thinner, they have fewer cubs. Desperation brings them closer to towns. Encounters are becoming more common, and more dangerous for both sides. Walruses also depend on the ice, using large floes as floating platforms. Without ice, tens of thousands crowd onto beaches. Stampedes can kill the young and weak. The entire food chain is breaking apart. Section 5, A World Without Ice, The Ripple Effects. The changes in the Arctic will redraw the map of the world. As the summer ice disappears, new shipping routes will open up. The Northern Sea Route along the coast of Russia. The Northwest Passage through the Canadian archipelago could become regular highways for global trade. These routes can cut the travel time between Asia and Europe or North America by weeks. That means less fuel, faster delivery, potentially huge profits. But this new traffic comes with enormous risks. More noise pollution in a once quiet ocean, disrupting whales and narwhals. Greater risk of oil spills and accidents in a fragile, remote environment. Cleanup is nearly impossible. Heavy fuel can linger under ice for decades. The world lacks the tech and infrastructure to respond. An ice-free Arctic also tempts resource extraction, oil, gas, minerals, with nations staking claims and building presence. Section 6, The Hidden Dangers, Methane and Wobbling Weather. Much of the land in the Arctic is permafrost, ground that has been frozen solid for thousands of years. This frozen soil holds huge amounts of organic material, dead plants, animals. As the Arctic warms, permafrost begins to thaw. Tiny microbes wake up. They decompose that old organic matter. As they do, they release carbon dioxide, methane, into the atmosphere. This is a very big problem. Methane is a greenhouse gas over 80 times more powerful at trapping heat than carbon dioxide over a 20-year period. It is a potent accelerator of global warming. Scientists call this a potential tipping point. It is not yet a runaway train, but it is a door to a much warmer future we do not want to open. The weather far away also feels the changes in the Arctic. The jet stream is a fast-moving river of air high in the atmosphere that circles the northern hemisphere. Its path is driven by the temperature difference between the cold Arctic and warmer lands to the south. As the Arctic warms rapidly, that difference shrinks. The jet weakens and wobbles. A wobbly jet stream can lock weather in place longer, punishing heat waves in Europe and North America, or deep winter cold snaps when Arctic air dips south. It can lead to more extreme rainfall and flooding in some areas, persistent drought in others. The Arctic may look small on a map, but its warming pulls on big weather strings that wrap around the entire planet. Section 7. A Darkness in the Mind, Light, Mood, and the Arctic Shift. We must tell this story like a human story, with feelings and fears. So here is a surprising fact. The same light that melts the ice can also shape how we feel. Sweden, Norway. Many people there are familiar with a condition called seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. We sometimes call it the winter blues. It is a type of depression that follows the seasons, typically starting in the fall and continuing through the dark winter months. People with SAD often feel a deep sadness and a loss of energy. They may sleep more than usual, crave carbohydrates, withdraw from friends and family. The primary cause is believed to be the lack of natural sunlight. Our bodies are wired to respond to light. Light helps regulate our internal body clock, our sleep-wake cycles, and the release of important hormones. Sunlight does more than lift our spirits. It triggers the production of vitamin D in our skin, important for bone health and immune function. It also helps our brain produce serotonin, a chemical tied to well-being. When light shifts dramatically, as it does in the Arctic, our entire biology can be thrown off balance. A changing Arctic means a changing lightscape. Less ice in the summer means a darker surface. More open water could also mean more fog. A winter with less snow cover means a darker landscape. The change in the physical environment directly impacts the sensory experience of living there. The very quality of the light, its brightness, its color, its duration, is being altered. This can change the fundamental rhythms that people and animals have lived by for millennia. The loss of ice is not just a physical change, it is a psychological one too. Section 8. The psychology of a changing sky. Now consider a twist. Rain and mood are also deeply connected. Many people say that rainy days make them feel gloomy or sad. Others find the sound of rain to be calming and peaceful. Psychologists who study this have found that our reaction to weather is very personal. The gentle, steady sound of rain can be like a lullaby for an anxious mind. It's a phenomenon used in many relaxation apps. It can provide a sense of enclosure and safety. For others, the same gray sky means canceled plans, muddy shoes, a feeling of being trapped indoors. The link between rain and mood is not just about the weather itself. It's about our memories, our culture, what we expect from a day. If you grew up associating rain with cozy days spent reading inside, you might love it. If you associate it with a flooded basement or a ruined picnic, you might dread it. Our feelings about the weather are learned. As the Arctic climate shifts from a frozen world to a wetter one, rain will fall in new seasons and new places. Imagine rain falling in the middle of a polar winter, once unthinkable. This rain can form hard crusts of ice over the snow, starving the animals that graze beneath it. The rain itself carries heat, melting the fragile ice pack. For the people who live there, this new rain is not a sign of renewal. It is a sign of chaos. When homes and landscapes change, memories and feelings change too. The small comforts that ground a person, the satisfying crunch of snow underfoot, the particular quality of winter light on an icy bay, those can disappear. That loss of sensory certainty matters to a community's mental health, just as much as changes in the food supply. The familiar sky is becoming strange. That strangeness can make people feel unmoored and anxious about the future. Section 9. The Sound of Hope, the Call to Care. The human cost becomes clear in a single story. In a small coastal village in Greenland, an elder remembers learning to skate on the frozen bay as a child. He remembers his father teaching him how to read the tracks of seals, polar bears. Now, the bay stays open with dark water late into the winter. Small boats have taken the place of skates, snowmobiles. Many of the young people have moved away to bigger towns, seeking jobs, a more predictable life. The old stories tied to the ice are eroding. The elder has lost more than ice. He has lost the world that taught him how to live. Now, a final cliffhanger. There is a sound that most of us will never hear, and it is disappearing. For millennia, the Arctic has been an orchestra of ice. The sea ice would groan, creak, crack under the immense pressure of wind and currents. It made sounds as it grew in the winter, fractured in the spring. That soundscape was the rhythm of Arctic life. With more and more open water, that ancient creaking is going quiet. In its place, we may soon hear the low, persistent hum of container ship engines, the distant clatter of industrial drills. The quiet of the ice has a value we have rarely stopped to name. Let's return to the opening scene. The dark water, the low sun, the lone gull calling out over a world that should be white. But now you know the story behind that sound. It is the sound of a planet in motion. It is the sound of a study that gave us a date, 2027, as a possibility, not a prophecy. The story is about more than a number. It is about long nights without the glow of snow. Elders losing the frozen roads they trusted. Bears walking closer to towns, driven by hunger. What can we do? The big answers are known. We must burn less fossil fuel. We must transition to cleaner sources of energy. We must protect the Arctic's people and wildlife through strong international agreements. But there is one clear action that matters for all of us, right now. We must choose to care. Care is not a single law, a lone protest. It is a habit of paying attention. It is a choice to learn the stories of the people who are living on the front lines of this change. It is a commitment to not look away. The next time a map on the news shows a vast blue ocean at the top of the world in summer, we will know it is a point of truth. It will tell us how well we listened and how much we chose to change.